you reviewed Batman the Telltale not quite animated series.
Yes, the first episode.
Episode 1.
Realm of Shadows.
That's very Batman-y.
It's a very nice name for a Batman title.
We could spend the rest of our lives breaking down each episodic release from Telltale, but I'm curious, where does this one stack up? What do you think of this? As a gigantic Batman fan.
Why Ben Hansen? It's not very good.
This is a more interesting conversation now.
Yes, it is a bit of a slog in the life of Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Who, through your actions and giving you choice, they always have the choices where you could say 4 things to someone in a conversation, or there'll be like 1 or 2 choices that you can do, whether that's just tickle the enemy or break his face open, stuff like that. That's not an example, but
the Tickler.
Yeah, that's his new name.
Oh, is the Tickler back?
But I mean, they do give you kind of light and dark throughout this thing, and he almost kind of comes across, Bruce Wayne, as someone who maybe should be locked up in Arkham Asylum because he is turning into a villain here.
Well, isn't that always the fun edge of Batman? Is always riding that vigilante versus criminal?
Yeah, but this is like
insane,
this is like ping pong with Bruce Wayne, just kind of bouncing all over the place. One of his dialogue options was, "Don't piss me off." And it's just like, okay, cool, Bruce.
I want to stay in a good mood. That's edgy. You wouldn't like me when I'm not in a good mood.
But it is a lot of time as Bruce Wayne. It is more a Bruce Wayne story than Batman.
That's cool.
It is, yeah, if it was done well. But the political landscape that they put together here, where Harvey Dent is kind of running for mayor, is not that great. Because right away they're just like, oh, he's siding with the Carboni family, like he wants to be a part of this criminal organization, and it's have them be backing him because of money and all this, and it's just like right there it just kind of starts to go off the rails, and it just kind of keeps sliding as new acquaintances are made. I won't reveal some of the names that come up in this, but Telltale has brand new takes on all these characters.
Yeah.
Some of them are similar. Catwoman is very much in line with who we saw at E3, was very much in line with the Catwoman we've seen in the comics and movies. But there are other characters that come into play that are very different.
That seems exciting because Reeves and I, when we saw the extended demo, we didn't talk about it on the podcast at all at E3. And my takeaway from that was like, this kind of looks like Batman by the numbers. It's like, oh boy, who's the real Bruce Wayne? Is he Batman or Bruce Wayne? When do you truly put on the mask? I don't want to bury you like I buried your parents, says Alfred.
It's like every generic Batman take over the last 30 years kind of like combined into one game.
But the way they pitch it is like, oh, well, we're going to change the lore. Like things are going to be changing up later on. And so that's what I'm hopeful for.
Do people want that?
I don't know. Is that the part that doesn't work?
Well, hold on. Back up a second here first. Back Alfred, by the way, like Telltale stops short. They don't tell the origin story like we've seen a billion times, except Alfred. That bastard is always like behind you, like, remember what happened to your family? And you're like, yeah, no crap, dude. Through the whole episode. And then all of a sudden, like, the movie tickets, from the movie they went to where they murdered it. Batman kept those, and all of a sudden they were like right next to the Bat computer. It's like, Alfred, what the hell are you doing?
Just lays them out every now and
it's like,
then
I know what happened.
I heard in this version,
a lock of your mother's hair.
The movie that they went to, it was the Sam and Max film, right? Just to fit in the Telltale mold? Okay.
Really weird.
I remember that E3 demo, just as an aside, like the demo scene, they had like Bruce Wayne talking with Harvey Dent, and Harvey Dent looked super like muscular and beefy. Yeah. And Bruce Wayne looked kind of like trim and like a wimp sitting next to him.
Reeves kept screaming, more muscles.
Show us those muscles.
Harvey Dent is huge compared to everyone in this universe. Very Eddie Brockish,
right?
Okay,
in the way he's kind of sculpted, but which is also kind of strange, but a new take on the character. And I appreciate they're trying new things. It's just I don't think they're that great. Where they went with it was very brief with some of these new characters. Where you're like, I have no idea where this is going to go.
Is it a spoiler to say any of the characters that are in this?
I think so, yeah, just because it is. They do kind of hide it. Like, there's one little name that's spoken, and then you find out later what they're going into.
But is it like Jason Todd is a taxi driver? Or like what level of variation?
It is kind of like that. Yeah, it is like very different.
Okay.
Like, when you see these characters, you'll be
amazing,
like,
actually.
what? But then you kind of sit and watch, and it's like, okay, I'll see where this goes, but they don't give you enough time with these characters. It's part 1 of 5 of an episodic series.
Yeah.
It is very much all table setting in this episode. There's one big thing that happens at the end. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, a Telltale episode 1 ending with a cliffhanger?
Yeah, where you're like, what's going into this? But that thing that happens at the end, I was just like, this is your hook moving forward? Like,
He gets a hook hand.
All right, guys. I mean,
what level of bad is this? Is this like Jurassic Park? Telltale's Jurassic Park bad? It can't be that bad.
No,
right?
I mean they've definitely improved since then.
Is it like
not
Wolf
campy
Among
bad.
Us?
This is just.
Well, a lot of people love Wolf Among
I
Us.
would say this is really just slow and dry. You know, pick your slowest Telltale episode of maybe Walking Dead season 2, or 400 Days. I didn't think that was super great. It was kind of in that territory.
Quick. I liked 400 Days, but maybe like middle of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, somewhere in there where it's just kind of like,
It's not a great way to start a series, though.
No.
If that's how you're starting, because it's always like they start strong, they kind of dip in the middle, and usually they close well. That's like the Telltale formula.
Yeah.
But if this is how it's starting,
And then when you are Batman,
yeah,
it is a lot of quick time events. And they're saying he's a really skilled combatant. And the way they do that is faster quick time events, more quick time. Not only do you hit left, right, left, you hit A and then R, B, and A at the same time. And then the detective work on top of that is just kind of like connecting one thing to another thing.
Well,
And
when
then
you're
he's
the
like,
world's
"Oh,
greatest
this is-"
detective, everything's boiled down to
sure,
just singular
sure.
points
See,
of
I
this
didn't
to
see
this.
that. Yeah. But I mean, it's just kind of like, oh.
Well, okay, here's the real Telltale question. How many times do you walk around? Every time I play a Telltale episode, it's just like I count how many times I'm actually in control and can move around. Okay, it's usually around there.
3, and then, well, you fly a drone at one point, which is kind of like Call of Duty outside of a building. You're
That's
kind of
cool.
Yeah, I was
Sounds
like,
cool, anyway.
that's exactly what I said. I was like, oh, that's cool. But then what I did with it was more detective stuff. I was like, that wasn't great.
This is very funny because later on in this episode, as I talked about earlier, Gary Widow's on kissing a lot of Telltale ass. So keep this in perspective.
I mean,
It'll be interesting.
this
roller
could be that thing where it's like, oh, it didn't start great, but man, it really went interesting places. But
well, what don't you want to have happen? Do you not want them to embrace a different version of the lore?
no, I'm fine with that. I just want the story to go interesting places and for it not to be so table settery. And the big thing at the end of the first episode, I was just kind of like, wow, we're going that way.
Okay.
I don't want to play it just to know what that is now.
Voice acting.
It's good. I'm not really sold on Batman's. He disguises his voice. It's Troy Baker. Troy Baker does a really good job as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But when they disguise his voice, it sounds a little weird. I like the idea that they're doing that. I always thought it was weird when they didn't. Or, I mean, even exposing his face is dumb, and if you really think about it. But the voice works good. Alfred's good, except Alfred's just the dialogue's just like, old man, let go of the past, please. We need to move forward.
Old man, take a look
but
at my life.
Yeah, the voice acting's good. Animation wise, I think this is probably their best looking game.
But
new technology.
still very much
I haven't.
a game.
Yeah, the one thing I haven't checked out the multiplayer, the crowd.
The kind of crowd thing. That's interesting.
Which I think it's just going to bring up things on each choice.
So it seems like, I just read the news story, but it seems like they're kind of incorporating kind of like a Jackbox party pack thing where everybody can kind of vote if you're watching a stream or playing in a large group.
Yeah, or you can do it beforehand and then you can see kind of the crowd, what the crowd said you should do.
Okay.
As you get to those choices.
Fail the QuickTime event. Fail it.
No, don't do
I did do that a couple times. No fail state that I saw.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
It's like there's a scene where Catwoman's getting away and I'm shooting the grapple and I was just like kind of sitting back like, oh, I should... Oh, he got her. All right, thanks, Batman.
You did it.
He is Batman.